Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. Today we are going to take a look at the brand new Tier 7 Chinese light tank, the first high tier light tank in the game, the Type 62 Dragon. This tank is a lot of fun to drive because it's extremely fast, it's very mobile, great maneuverability, and in general has a good gun that packs quite a decent punch. You can see the gun, it has on its standard rounds only 145 millimeters penetration, which isn't great, but it's enough if you get the flanks of your enemies to easily penetrate them, unless you face tier 9 tanks, because this tank does not have preferential matchmaking. That does mean that it can be quite difficult if you're in a tier 9 game and say there are maybe only a few other tier 7 and tier 8 tanks. It's going to be very hard for you to do a lot of damage because the penetration on the regular round isn't great. You can see I'm using 30 AP shells, 15 heat shells, and a couple of HE just to reset the cap. So get a feel for the speed now. You can see I'm actually pretty much up to full speed right now, and I'm going to take a spotting position on this map and try to put the great view range of this tank to use, because this tank, it has by far the best view range of any tier 7 tank at 260 meters. So to accentuate that, I've equipped my tank with binoculars, because I also think that if I land in a tier 9 game, I'm gonna need to play the role of a passive scout. So that means not shooting, trying to stay concealed, just trying to spot for my team, although I do have my doubts whether or not the maps on Blitz are big enough for light tanks to have an effective role. So I spot the KV2, and you can see the pretty nice gun handling. I was able to pull off a quite easy snapshot, and I want to kill the KV2 first. So I hold my shot for a second, make sure I shoot him. Trying to get one in on the T-34-85 as well, but not landing the shot. So you can see I haven't been spotted yet. These tanks I'm facing, they're tier 7s. They might have 230 meters of view range, and first at this point I get spotted. So maybe I was a bit too aggressive, and I try to pull back here. But you can get a feel for the gun of this tank. You can pull off some pretty nice snapshots, and it's easy for you to stay concealed, because the tank is very small in nature. So we spot the Tankenstein to the left. He's a tank that I don't want to engage, at least not one-on-one, because or at least not when there are multiple enemies around him, because even though he's very slow, he has a big nasty gun. And another thing that I didn't mention yet is that this tank has next to no armor. So pretty much everything that's going to shoot at you is going to penetrate you no matter where they hit. There are no places on the tank that have sufficient armor to bounce anything reliably. So I take a big shot here from the Tankenstein, and I try to stay up because I want to keep the vision on my team in case they do manage to land some shots, but they don't. So I pull back. I can see that our E25-1, he's going somewhere else as well. So I decide to stay here, try to keep vision on for my team, and make sure that we can engage the enemies effectively. So far you haven't really seen anything that's spectacular about this tank, but in a second you're gonna see just how amazing the mobility of this tank is, because the VK that just killed our Panzer IV Anko, he's gonna rush me, and I'm taking shots at this KV1, but I can see that here comes the VK. So I have almost 400 hit points remaining. He has over 1,000 hit points, and on par DPM with me. But I'm very small, and I'm very fast, so I'm just gonna use my mobility to try to make a bit of fun about him. You can see his turret traverse isn't great. I go around, use the great speed. He doesn't manage to pull off a clutch shot, take off his tracks. I manage to turn. Luckily, he misses that shot. And I load a heat shell just in case, because I was very close to the front plate there, and it was at an angle. So I wasn't certain that I was gonna penetrate it. And look how much hit points I lost when he ran. I went from 100 hit points approximately to 5 hit points. That's because this tank, it weighs nothing. It has, I think it has a weight of 21.5 tons, which really isn't, it isn't very much. And that means that getting rammed is something you should be very careful of. And it really doesn't matter who's ramming you. Pretty much every tank in the game weighs more than you. So if you get rammed, you really need to get out of that situation very quickly. So this is turning into quite an ugly match. And just a FYI, this match is the very first match I played in this tank. I hadn't played it at all before. I just bought it when it was released here at, I think I bought it at quarter over 12. And this was the very first game. And the next two games are going to be games number 2 and 3. So this is really my first impressions and how I think this tank is performing in Blitz. So I pull off a nice shot in the KV-1. But I'm a bit concerned because they're Tiger Ps on a lot of hit points. And in hindsight, I should have played this end situation out a lot differently than I actually do. Because I don't manage to win this game. But we do get a draw, but to be honest, I would kind of rather prefer losing over a draw. A draw is just really boring, because that means there's absolutely no one winning. I'd rather go for the win than go for a draw. Anyways, you can see here I'm pretty low on ammunition already. That's because this tank has a very, very nice rate of fire. It has over 10 rounds a minute, which is actually quite remarkable. So compared to a lot of other tanks, you can really punish the enemies with this gun, and you can keep them perma-tracked very well, which is what I'm gonna try to do to this Tiger, but I just don't want to get spotted by him yet. So I load another heat shell to take out the KV, but unfortunately I hit a part of his turret that has some spaced armor, and my E25 friend, he loses a lot of his health. So I can see the Tiger P now. In hindsight, this is the situation I should have taken. I should have rushed him, because now I would have caught him in the open if I had rushed him. He's turning his tank, and if I had rushed him, I would have easily been able to close the distance. But I guess that's just because this tank is so new to me. I'm not confident in how the mobility is yet, and how quick it actually is. But I'm getting there, and I have to say that this tank is just very much, it's just a lot of fun to drive. But you're going to see a lot of more gameplay coming up in the next couple of replays. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you can use it to get an impression of what this tank can do and what it can't do. This tank, in my opinion, I'm not certain if it has a place in World of Tanks Blitz, simply because the maps are so small, and there are no great bushes where you can hide. And this tank, it gets into it has to fight on maps like Copperfield and that Rockfield, which are just very, very small. So and it makes it difficult on these small maps to actually play the role of a scout effectively. So even though you try to work as a passive scout, it's just very difficult for you to make it work. Anyways, there are 2 more games coming up. I hope you'll enjoy the gameplay, and I hope it'll give you an impression of whether or not this is a tank that you would like to pick up eventually. So I hope you enjoy it, have fun, and bye bye.